Welcome back to the Financial Academy podcast. I'm your host, Jacques M Jr. And let's recap real quick. Last episode, we talked about creating a game plan. You don't plan to fail, but sometimes we fail to plan. And as a single father beforehand, again, it sucks, it's frustrating, it's annoying that you have to deal with this situation, paying child support, going through custody hearings, going through court systems, paperwork, trying to get rights to your child, the whole nine. However, we have to look past that. We have to be intentional. And I'm not talking about dudes who are being spiteful just to spite the other party. I'm talking about real dudes who are intentional, who want to be in their children's lives. Either one or however many that you may have. Came from a divorce situation or one night stand situation or a long relationship that just went to the left is no longer working. Doesn't matter. What I'm here to do is I want to reach out to you as a single father to another single father to make sure that you're in the right headspace, in the right situation. Because a lot of times, even I thought the same thing. I have child support dues that I need to pay, and I'm not able to go ahead and get this situation situated because the situation is not situating. You see what I'm saying? It just wasn't gelling for me. It just wasn't happening. And I had to get my mindset right and to think to myself and say, hey, look, I can still be successful financially if I am intentional, if I have a game plan, if I plan. That's the bottom line. You have to want to win in order for you to win. That's just the bottom line. So what is it that you have to do? Last episode, I talked about habits. So the first thing you would want to do is get 3 months of statements. Now, everybody has vices. Some people have drinking, some people may smoke, some people may be movies, going out, shopping, clothes, whatever it is. My vice was food. 500 out of the blue, just in food alone. And that's just me. And I'm talking about going out to eat, drink, tip, the whole nine, dates, the whole nine. That was my vice. So when my child came to the world, I had to be intentional and kick back and cut back and say, hey, look, it's not about me anymore. It's about this other person that I would want them to have a better future than for me to have a better time right now in the moment, in the present, just for me. So I had to cut back. I had to go ahead and get 3 months worth of statements. And when I looked at 3 months worth of statements, this is the crazy part. When you talk about it verbally, it's one thing. When you get the paper and you look at it line by line and you're trying to figure out how is it that I have more month at the end of my money, it doesn't make any sense. And yet still you have to provide shelter, food, clothing, anything in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs you need to provide. Not just for you, but also for your child. If it's a split household situation where the child comes to stay with you for 2-3 days out of the week, you have to have food, clothes, of course, shelter. You just can't put them in a bad situation. And I know you're probably thinking, what if I'm not working the job that I want to work? I have a record. I have something going on. You can still overcome that. You really can overcome that. Again, the slogan is very clear. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So you want to get 3 months worth of your statements and review your bank account statements line by line. Every time you get paid, you need to look at what is it that I'm spending my money on? Is it something off of Amazon? Little small things start to add up. I had a little Amazon spree on my bank statements for a moment of time. Phone cases, screen protectors, had to get the new latest iPhone situation, trying to keep up with the Joneses. When I don't even know who the Joneses are. I don't even like the Joneses. The Joneses don't even know who I am, and I'm trying to keep up with them. It doesn't even make sense. So look at your bank statement, line by line, 3 months straight. Once you figure out what your habits are, that's when you start to cut back on those habits. Will it be tough? Yes, it will be, because you have to make a intentional decision to win. And if you're like me, you want to win at everything at all costs. That's number one. Number two, you want to show your child that you're a winner and that they can be a winner too. You think about it. You look at your parents. If they were wealthy, would you be in this situation right now? No. So you want to change the trajectory of lifestyle. You want to show your child or your children that, hey, don't be like me. You can be successful financially. Once you're done reviewing your 3 months worth of bank statements, that's when you start to prioritize where you want to put your money. As a man, you want to build a foundation. Now we get into the nitty gritty of building up your financial house. The foundational portion of building yourself financially successfully. If something would have happened to you as a man, you would always want to protect your child at all costs. I'm hoping so. I'm assuming so. And I'm talking to you right there, the gentleman who's thinking about the same situation, who's looking at the child right next to him, that I want to make sure I give you everything that I can possibly give you, whether it be knowledge, wisdom, but most importantly, you want to leave something as far as financials just for that legacy. So the main thing foundationally is you want to get life insurance. You want to make sure that is priority number one. Why do you want life insurance? Because you need to protect your income. It's really income protection. And you're probably thinking, so if I, the father, were to pass away, what happens to that money if my child is of a lesser age? Great question. Because I too had the same question. That's where the next step of foundation comes in, estate planning. Depending on whatever state you're in, whether it be Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, whatever, you have to figure out what is it that you can do for your child at that age in order to put a trust, a will in place in order for that child to get those funds at the age of a majority. Because if they're less than 18 or 21, depending on your state, and you were to pass away, whatever funds you have will go to the other party who you had the child with. And for a lot of us as men, we don't want that at all. If you had a situation like I do, or if it was a tough situation, a bad break, I'm not talking about being spiteful. I'm talking about for real, for real. You know that your child would never see funds with the light of day. You want to put a trust or will in place for your child, depending on what state you're in. Those are the foundational things that you need to think about and put in place. Thirdly, you want to have health insurance for your child. You have to have health insurance for your child. It's best to just go ahead as soon as the child is born, just go ahead and put them on your health insurance, because you got to think about it. Normally, the first 5 years of a child's life, they're in and out, getting sick, they're around other kids. There's diseases, there's germs, they're licking their fingers, they're doing a whole lot of nonsense that you're looking at like, why you keep doing that? However, you want to make sure they have health insurance. And another thing about the health insurance portion of it is, if you have health insurance as a single father on your child, that's another expense that can be cut down from child support. Found that out. That's free game. I'm giving it to you for free. So think about that. Again, not to be spiteful, you want to take care of your child. You want to be the person that is going to doctor's visits and doctor's offices and knowing about what your child has. Because I had a situation where I didn't know that my child had allergies at one point, and I gave my child some nuts, and their face swelled up. The other party knew, I didn't know, and I could have lost my child. So you want to be the one to have health insurance to make sure that your child is well protected. So foundationally, as a person or as a man, as a single father, you want to think about these things: life insurance, health insurance, a trust, or a will in order to protect your child. You want to keep that close to your heart. Keep that close. Think about that. And if you never knew about these things, this is free game. This is what the Financial Academy podcast here is for. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to go ahead and serve you all and let you know free game, free 99, not a problem. So the next step would be to go ahead and create a spending plan or a budget. So once you went through and you crossed out every vice, every situation that was on your 3-month statement, now you see where your money can start flowing. Now you can see where instead of spending money on this, I can move this money around and do this without even making an extra dime. If you want to make extra money, by all means, have at it. It's the best thing. But if you don't have the time or the wherewithal to make extra income in your situation, you have to go ahead and get those 3-month statements and start crossing those things out and breaking those bad habits in order for you to go ahead and become successfully financially. So on the next episode, we're going to learn how to build out your spending plan and or your budget so you can go ahead and build an emergency fund for your child. So I'm Jack Joseph Jr. This is a Financial Academy podcast. Peace.